Society that weeps for fiction but turns its back on real pain. Nah, look. It's crazy how we live in a world where people will cry their hearts out over a scene in a movie, but walk past a real human being hurting right next to them like it ain't nothing. That's the era we in. A society that weeps for fiction but turns its back on real pain. And you gotta ask yourself, how did we get here? How did we become so entertained by struggle that we stop feeling it? Everybody loves a story that's edited, filtered, scripted, because it's safe. You can feel something for a moment and then walk away untouched. But real life, real pain, that requires heart. That requires courage. That requires you to step outside yourself and say, yo, someone's hurting and I can't act like I don't see it. But most people don't want to do that work. They'd rather show sympathy to a character than empathy to a human being. They'd rather post a quote than live it. That's why so many people look alive but move empty, because they lost the ability to connect for real. See, the truth is, the world don't lack emotions. It just lacks the bravery to feel them where they actually matter. It's easy to shed tears for something that was never real. It's hard to look someone in the eyes, someone who's breaking, someone who's drowning, someone who's carrying weight you can't even imagine, and say, I'm here. But that's the difference between people who just exist and people who actually build something meaningful. You don't build a legacy by choosing convenience over compassion. You build it by showing up where it's heavy, where it's uncomfortable, where most people disappear. And that's why I'm telling you, don't be like the world. Don't let your heart get numb just because everybody else is moving cold. Don't let social media teach you what pain matters and what pain doesn't. Don't wait for someone to edit life into a perfect scene before you finally care. Real people need you. Real stories need you. Real struggles need your presence, not your scroll. If you got a heart, use it. If you got eyes, see people. If you got a voice, speak up for somebody who can't right now. Don't let yourself become another person who only feels when the screen tells them to. Feel when life calls you. Stand up when someone's breaking. Be the one who carries what others drop. Because that's how you build character. That's how you build leadership. That's how you stay human in a world that forgot what that means. And remember this, compassion ain't weakness. Empathy ain't soft. Being real with people's pain doesn't make you fragile. It makes you powerful. Most folks run from real emotion because they're scared of what it'll reveal about themselves. But you ain't built like that. You're here to move different. To see what others ignore. To care where others pretend. To stand in truth even when it's uncomfortable. That's rare. That's strength. That's legacy work. So don't let the world turn your heart into stone. Keep it real, keep it warm, keep it open. Because somebody out there needs exactly the kind of soul you're fighting to protect. And when you show up for people in their real pain, you ain't just changing their life, you're changing yours too. Most people cry for fiction because it's safe, but ignore real pain because it requires courage, presence, and true empathy. Real strength is choosing compassion where others turn cold, showing up for real people in real struggles instead of only feeling when the screen tells you to. Most people cry for fiction because it's safe, but ignore real pain because it requires courage, presence, and true empathy. We live in a world where emotions have become entertainment, not responsibility, and that's the silent tragedy nobody wants to admit. People will sit in a dark room watching a movie, letting tears fall over a character who never existed, who feels nothing, who is played by someone collecting a paycheck. But when a real human being, breathing the same air, carrying real wounds, real struggles, real heartbreak stands in front of them, suddenly their hearts shut down. Suddenly their empathy has conditions. Suddenly their compassion needs a script. Fiction gives them a controlled environment to feel something without having to do anything, without being accountable, without facing the discomfort of someone's reality. That's why people choose it. Not because they're heartless, but because real pain asks something of them. It demands attention. It demands presence. It demands stepping out of their comfort zone and into someone else's chaos. And most people don't have the emotional discipline to do that. Real strength is choosing compassion where others turn cold. Showing up for real people in real struggles instead of only feeling when the screen tells you to. Strength isn't measured by how loud you talk, how tough you act, or how much you pretend nothing affects you. Strength is measured by how deeply you're willing to feel in a world that keeps teaching you to shut down. Real strength is choosing heart over hardness, humanity over ego, and presence over distance. It's easy to blend in with the majority, to move numb, to walk past someone hurting, and convince yourself it's not your problem. That's the path most people take because it doesn't challenge their comfort or their pride. But when you choose compassion in a space where coldness is the norm, you separate yourself. You move different. You show a level of maturity and integrity most people never reach. The strongest people are the ones who step into someone's pain without worrying about how it makes them look. They don't treat empathy like a weakness. They don't run from emotions just because society labels them as soft. They understand that compassion doesn't drain you, it builds you. It shapes your character. It develops the kind of depth you can't buy, fake, or pretend. When someone is going through darkness and you choose to stand beside them, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you don't know the perfect thing to say, that's real strength. Showing up when it's uncomfortable, when it's messy, when it's inconvenient is a rare form of courage. You don't always need to fix someone's life. Sometimes your presence alone is enough to remind them they're not invisible. People who lack emotional strength will call it unnecessary. They'll say stay out of it, or mind your own business, or everyone goes through things. Those mindsets come from fear, not wisdom. They come from people who are scared to feel, scared to get involved, scared to face the reality that pain exists outside of the scripted worlds they're comfortable with. Choosing compassion requires you to step out of that bubble. It forces you to see humanity without filters or edits. It makes you accountable. And accountability is something that emotionally weak people run from. They would rather feel for a stranger on a screen than for someone in their own circle because a screen asks nothing of them. A real person requires action. Showing up for real people in real struggles is the kind of commitment that reveals your true character. Anyone can post quotes about kindness, but living it is different. Anyone can say they care, but caring when it's hard is different. Anyone can pretend they're a good person, but doing the work that good people do is different. When you choose to be the person who listens, who supports, who stands with someone when their world is falling apart, you're proving something powerful, that your heart is not dictated by convenience and your empathy is not controlled by social norms. Most people avoid other people's pain because they're scared it'll remind them of their own. You, choosing compassion anyway, are breaking that cycle. Coldness is easy. Detachment is easy. Ignoring people is easy. That's why so many do it. But the things that come easy rarely carry value. Compassion is valuable because it requires effort. Presence is valuable because it requires time. Empathy is valuable because it requires self-awareness. When you choose these things, you are choosing to grow, choosing to elevate, choosing to operate on a level most people never reach. That's why compassion is a mark of strength that shows that you're not controlled by fear, ego, or selfishness. You're driven by something deeper, something real. It takes strength to look at someone who is breaking and not turn away. It takes strength to say, I'm here, even when you're dealing with your own battles. Compassion doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you're willing to stand in the storm with someone instead of watching them drown from a distance. It means you value human connection more than your own convenience. Most people only show emotion when the world tells them it's acceptable. They feel when the storyline is designed to make them feel. They cry when the music swells and the scene fades out. But take away the screen, take away the soundtrack, take away the script, and their hearts go silent. That's why choosing compassion is an act of rebellion in this generation. It goes against the emotional numbness society tries to normalize. It goes against the idea that strength means being cold. It goes against the belief that helping someone is a burden. Compassion proves that strength is not about how much you can ignore, it's about how much you're willing to face. When you show up for real people, you give them something fiction never can: presence, understanding, connection, and real human support. And that's the kind of strength that leaves an impact long after the moment has passed, long after the struggle has faded, long after the pain has healed.